Hello, all. Today I wanted to talk to you about a couple of tips and tricks to help you build your credit. After receiving some feedback on the topics that I wanted to speak about and the topics that my group was interested in, I saw that no one picked the same topic, so I decided to choose something that was relevant to my audience as a whole. We are college students and we often use credit for many things like insurance or car loans and most significantly student loans, etc. As a young adult, I was placed in a position where I had to support myself financially and I needed to build good credit to do basic things like get a car, to go to work, and of course, rent out an apartment. And I did not have any help or any guidance from anyone to do so, so I began to do some research into how I could build my credit fast because I needed to achieve some goals quickly. So, the purpose of my speech today is to inform and provide tips and tricks to help you improve your credit score that maybe you were not aware of, or you just simply didn't go into as much detail as I will today. So, to build credit, one needs to buy on credit, pay more than the minimum, and on average, use no more than 30% of your credit max. So you also want to limit the amount of accounts that you open. And lastly, the last tip that I have is to get added as authorized users to other people's credit accounts to help gain credit through them. So, all right, let's get into a little bit more detail about these tips. Tip number 1, buying on credit gives you credit. When you buy on credit, it sets a record of how you manage your finances and it boosts your credibility as a loaner, someone who's going to get an amount loaned to them. So the only way to actually prove this is to pay off your debt. Tip number 2, make payments on time. You should always try to make your payments on time. Because, of course, as we know, if you don't make your payments on time, you can get penalties, but it can also drop down your credit score. Ben Luthi wrote in an article for NerdWallet called "Using Credit Card to Build Your Credit," dated February 2018, that your payment history makes up 35% of your FICO score. This is pretty significant. So you want to make sure that you're regularly making payments on time. Now, if you are looking into raising your score rather quickly like I was, I think that you should consider paying more than the minimum, and also you should consider paying twice every month. Tip number 3. According to creditkarma.com, in an article, "How much credit score should you be using?" dated back to April 2016, states that VantageScore recommends a utilization rate of no more than 30% of all credit available. That's throughout your whole credit line, and many other credit cards. So let's say you have 3 credit cards, it's using 30% of the complete maximum available to you. Tip number 4, you have to limit yourself from opening new credit accounts. In September 2011, Lisa Gernstern wrote on a scholarly journal called 4 Moves That Can Ding Your Credit, if you open several new accounts in a short period of time, your score is likely to take a hit. This is because every time that you apply for a loan or you apply for a credit card, your credit is checked and then points are deducted. So you want to be very careful with this. Tip number 5 is to get added as authorized users to individuals' credit accounts who have good credit. Of course, now with this one, you need to be careful because you want to make sure that the person who is adding you to their accounts also has good credit. You don't want to be put in a position where you are gaining credit from a person who has low credit because you will gain that negative credit as well. But if they do have good credit, this is a good opportunity and a good way for you to get credit from them. Oftentimes, parents of young adults do this to help their children get started in building credit. And personally, I have done this myself and it's worked for me. I used it for a friend. I added him to my accounts as an authorized user without letting him borrow my card or anything, just to gain some credit in that way. And it worked. So that was a really interesting fact. So if you're interested in something like that, then I think that it's worth looking into. Now, you always want to remember that your score is something that you should always look into and you should always manage, especially if you are ever considering getting a mortgage on a home, or even if you are just starting out with your credit and you are looking to still build your credit and things like that, to get a car and, get an apartment, many things like that. So, all right, thank you very much for listening. And I hope that the knowledge and the tips and tricks that I gave you today help you boost your score. Thanks for watching. Bye.